Just keep going, just keep going up, just keep going, just keep going up. You can't turn back, you come too far, you can't give up, you work too hard. Just keep going, just keep going up, just keep going, just keep going up. You can't turn back, you come too far, you can't give up, you work too hard.
Welcome back to Dissertation in 90 Days, the podcast dedicated to helping you navigate the challenges of graduate school with confidence and efficiency. I'm Dr. J, your host, and today we're tackling a common but often underestimated issue that can derail even the most dedicated students: procrastination. We all know how it feels. Those moments when you find yourself avoiding work, even though you know the deadline is approaching and the pressure is mounting. But don't worry, you're not alone. Procrastination is something that affects nearly everyone at some point, especially in the high-pressure environment of graduate school. But understanding why it happens and how to combat it can make a huge difference in your productivity and overall well-being. In this episode, we'll explore the psychology behind procrastination, delve into practical strategies to beat it, and discuss how you can maintain long-term habits that keep you on track. Whether you're just starting your research or in the final stages of writing, this episode will give you the tools you need to defeat procrastination once and for all. So let's dive in and start building the habits that lead to success. Procrastination is a challenge that almost every graduate student faces at some point. It's that nagging tendency to put off tasks, often until the last minute, and it can have serious consequences on your academic progress. But before we dive into the strategies for overcoming procrastination, it's important to understand why it happens. Procrastination often stems from a combination of fear, perfectionism, and a lack of motivation. Fear can manifest as anxiety about not being good enough, or worrying that your work won't meet the high standards you've set for yourself. Perfectionism can lead to procrastination because you might delay starting a task until you feel ready to do it perfectly. Meanwhile, a lack of motivation can make it difficult to even begin a project, especially when the rewards of completing it seem distant or abstract. Let's dig a little deeper into these causes. Fear of failure, for example, is a powerful force that can paralyze you. You might find yourself thinking, what if my research doesn't turn out as I planned? Or, what if my advisor isn't happy with my draft? These fears can lead to avoidance, where you choose to put off tasks rather than face the possibility of imperfection or criticism. But here's the thing. Avoiding the task doesn't make the fear go away. It only amplifies it over time, making the task seem even more daunting. Perfectionism, on the other hand, is like a double-edged sword. On one side, it drives you to produce high-quality work. But on the other side, it can prevent you from even starting if you're worried that your work won't be flawless. Perfectionism often comes with an all-or-nothing mindset, where you believe that if something can't be done perfectly, it's not worth doing at all. This mindset can be incredibly limiting, especially in a field where progress is often incremental and mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. Lack of motivation is another common cause of procrastination. Motivation can wane for various reasons. Maybe you're feeling burnt out, or perhaps the task at hand doesn't seem immediately rewarding. In graduate school, where the end goal, like finishing your dissertation, can seem far off, it's easy to lose sight of why you started the project in the first place. This is especially true for long-term projects where the payoff isn't immediate and the work can feel tedious or overwhelming. Now that we've identified the root causes, let's talk about how procrastination affects your productivity. Procrastination can create a cycle of stress and guilt where you're constantly aware of the work you're not doing, which in turn increases your anxiety and makes it even harder to start. This cycle can be particularly damaging in graduate school, where deadlines are often self-imposed, and the pressure to produce high-quality work is intense. Over time, chronic procrastination can lead to missed deadlines, lower quality work, and a feeling of being constantly overwhelmed. The good news is that procrastination is not a permanent state, and there are effective strategies you can use to break the cycle and stay productive. The first step is to set clear, achievable goals. Instead of focusing on the entire dissertation, break it down into smaller tasks that you can accomplish in a short period. For example, instead of setting a goal to write a chapter, set a goal to write 500 words on the literature review. Smaller, more manageable goals are less intimidating and can help you build momentum. One approach that can be particularly effective is to set SMART goals. Goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Let's say you want to complete a section of your literature review. A SMART goal would be, by Friday at 5 p.m., I will write 1,000 words, summarizing the key studies on topic X. This goal is specific and gives you a clear target to aim for. It's measurable because you've set a word count. It's achievable because 1,000 words in a week is a realistic target. It's relevant because it's directly related to your dissertation, and it's time-bound because you've given yourself a deadline. Time management is another key strategy for overcoming procrastination. One effective technique is the Pomodoro technique, where you work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. After 4 sessions, you take a longer break of 15 to 30 minutes. This method helps you stay focused and productive while preventing burnout. It also turns your work into a series of short, manageable intervals, which can make it easier to get started. Let's talk about time management in more detail. The Pomodoro technique is excellent for breaking down your work into manageable chunks, but it's also important to prioritize your tasks. Not all tasks are created equal, and it's crucial to focus on the ones that will have the most significant impact on your progress. One tool that can help with this is the Eisenhower matrix, which categorizes tasks based on their urgency and importance. Tasks that are both urgent and important should be your top priority, while tasks that are neither urgent nor important can often be deferred or delegated. Creating a dedicated workspace can also make a big difference in your productivity. Your environment plays a significant role in how well you can focus and stay on task. Choose a spot that is free from distractions and set it up with everything you need to work efficiently. This could be a quiet corner of your home, a library, or even a coffee shop. The key is to make this space your go-to spot for work, so your mind associates it with productivity. Speaking of environment, it's also important to minimize distractions during your work sessions. This might mean turning off your phone, blocking social media sites, or using apps that limit your access to distracting websites. The goal is to create an environment that is conducive to focus and productivity. It can also be helpful to set specific hours for work and for breaks so that your day has a clear structure and rhythm. Another powerful tool for combating procrastination is developing a routine. When you establish a regular schedule for your work, it becomes a habit, making it easier to start working even when you don't feel motivated. Try to start your work sessions at the same time every day and stick to your schedule as consistently as possible. Over time, this routine will help you develop the discipline needed to overcome procrastination. But what if your routine gets disrupted? Life happens. Maybe you get sick or an unexpected event throws off your schedule. When this happens, it's important not to beat yourself up. Instead, focus on getting back on track as soon as possible. One way to do this is by using a reset day. A reset day is a day where you focus solely on organizing, planning, and getting back into your routine. Use this day to review your goals, catch up on missed work, and set a plan for the upcoming week. Let's also discuss the role of accountability. Sometimes, knowing that someone else is expecting you to complete a task can be a strong motivator. Consider joining a study group, finding a writing partner, or simply sharing your goals with a friend or mentor. These individuals can provide encouragement, offer feedback, and help keep you on track. In some cases, just the act of telling someone else about your goals can make you more committed to achieving them. While all these strategies are effective, it's important to also address the underlying emotions that contribute to procrastination. This is where mindfulness and self-compassion come into play. Mindfulness involves being present in the moment and aware of your thoughts and feelings without judgment. By practicing mindfulness, you can become more aware of the thoughts that lead to procrastination and learn to manage them effectively. For example, if you notice that you're feeling anxious about a task, instead of avoiding it, acknowledge the anxiety, but don't let it control your actions. Self-compassion is equally important. Be kind to yourself when you struggle with procrastination. Instead of beating yourself up for not being perfect, recognize that everyone faces challenges and that it's okay to make mistakes. By treating yourself with compassion, you can reduce the stress and guilt that often accompany procrastination, making it easier to get back on track. Let's talk more about the impact of self-compassion on productivity. Research shows that individuals who practice self-compassion are more resilient and better able to bounce back from setbacks. When you're kind to yourself, you're less likely to get stuck in negative thought patterns that can lead to further procrastination. Instead, you can approach your work with a positive mindset, which increases your motivation and productivity. Finally, remember that overcoming procrastination is a process. It's not something that happens overnight, and there will be times when you struggle. The important thing is to keep trying, to learn from your setbacks, and to keep moving forward. Every small step you take brings you closer to your goal, and over time, these small steps add up to significant progress. So, there you have it. Strategies for overcoming procrastination and staying productive in graduate school. Remember, procrastination is a common challenge, but it doesn't have to control your academic journey. By setting clear goals, managing your time effectively, and addressing the emotional factors that contribute to procrastination, you can stay on track and make steady progress toward your dissertation. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Dissertation in 90 Days. I hope you found these tips helpful as you work to overcome procrastination and stay productive. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a review. Share this podcast with your fellow grad students who might also benefit from these strategies. And as always, I encourage you to connect with our Grad Mentor Network for more resources and support. Remember, the key to overcoming procrastination is persistence. Keep pushing forward, and don't be afraid to seek help when you need it. Together, we can conquer procrastination and achieve our academic goals. Until next time, keep striving for excellence in your work, and remember that every small step brings you closer to success. I'm Dr. J, signing off. Goodbye.